surprising no one at all, I got mail. Maybe a slight surprise, I got mail from Chaosium. But one thing that will not surprise anybody who's ever ordered their print products, the packing and delivery, even for international mail, spot on. I'm never dissatisfied when I see something coming out of Brainerd. Now, this package had a long way to go, and it came from the United States point of distribution, which had not been my intention. I intended to order from Australia somehow. However, I must have made some sort of error, and it came from North America instead, which makes this story even more bizarre. To help me tell the tale, let's dip into the tracking report from the United States Postal Service, and we'll scroll all the way down through all of these different reports, and there are a lot of them, to the bottom. Okay, so we see the shipping label was created in Brainerd, and then it was accepted, and then it was moved, right? And then it was in transit for a while, and then it went to Chicago, and it spent a little time moving around to different aspects of the departure point at Chicago, and then arrived at Chicago again, and then it went to Houston, and then to Sao Paulo, Brazil, to go back to Chicago, and then to Detroit, and then finally on to Incheon, South Korea, where it entered the local postal service and made its way to me. Pretty unusual journey to go from Brainerd, Minnesota to Chicago, to more Chicago, to Houston, to Brazil, to come back to Chicago, to go to Detroit, to come to me. But there you have it. It's a Lovecraftian mythos delivery story. Regardless of the length of its journey, it arrived safe and sound. What's in the box is the appropriate question to ask, I believe. Well, this, if you haven't read the title of the YouTube video which you are now watching, is a delivery of the Malleus Monstrorum, a collection and expanded information resource for creatures of the mythos as seen through the lens of Call of Cthulhu. Now, this is an update of an earlier volume by the same title, and it's an expansion of it, rewriting much of it. But the heart of the project remains the same. There are ways to assist new keepers in learning how to develop their own mythos entities, and there are guidelines for establishing vagueness and uncertainty in your description and in repeated appearances of organizations or individuals or creatures or entities and the like. And overall, there is a significant effort made to keep the mystery in what is supposed to be mysterious. So now that I've kept you very entertained with tape, let's see if we can actually get into the box sometime soon. Actually, this unraveling of the tape is kind of reminding me of the long and mysterious and unwinding journey of the package from the United States to South Korea. Well, we're almost there. Just one more little section. There we go. Now, of course, now we can see the cover. And in a lot of places online, and blogs and YouTube channels and all sorts of places, the primary comments and the repeated comments, everything keeps cycling back around to the art. That's not what we're going to talk about here. We're going to stay in line with what the text is communicating, which is an impetus to step away from descriptions rooted in sight, to rely on our other senses, such as my sense of touch, that there was something different about this corner. And when we get around to confirm with the sense of sight, we reveal that this is not damage. This is just normal production irregularities and instances of uniqueness. All right. So the product made it all the way in great shape. And yes, it's dramatic. But the point of the Malleus Monstrorum is to help keepers bring a greater sense of what it is that we've gathered to play a Lovecraftian-based Call of Cthulhu game for. This is not a monster manual. This is not a bestiary through which we will run and collect them all and mount them on our shelves. The heads stuffed as trophies of things that we have killed. Although, sadly, it is referred to in its title as a Cthulhu Mythos bestiary. There's nothing I can do about that. However, the text is, regardless, pretty clear. So many hints and items to support imagination around how to build campaigns are present in this book that we can overlook the titling, we can overlook all the different things that went into marketing the volume to maximize its profit. We can probably celebrate the impact of all of that profit on Chaosium. They certainly deserve it after all of these years. The Malleus Monstrorum is not, as I said, a monster manual. It's tools for building campaigns. It's guidance for being able to use small slices of the mythos in magnified and magnificent ways that will help you build memorable campaigns. So rather than an alphabetical slog of murdering all these different entities with a variety of different weaponry, instead, unsettling and disruptive investigations can wind through mazes of vagueness and ambiguity, resulting in horror and uncertainty, much like we would expect from a Lovecraftian protagonist, which is not to say that there won't be tentacles, which is not to say there will not be combat, which is not to say there won't be gross physical horror, but it can be enveloped in layers of mystery that make playing an investigative horror game so very satisfying and so very different from other types of play. Plus, if you're the sort who enjoys the various contributions of various authors to what has now become known as the Cthulhu mythos, there is an awful lot of really cool approaches to these entities, to these cults, to these beings, to these places that you'll just enjoy reading, I think. As usual, with Chaosium, there is clear credit about where everything comes from. This is, as I've said many times before, something I wish we could see in every gaming product out there. And there is a lot of support for this product in different forms. So we have the Master Monster sheets to help make running things such as combats easier. Plus, there are card decks, so you can get a quick visual reminder of the monster or entity you are planning to spring into the scene, and on the reverse side, any of the relevant statistics to make it easy to use. And if you get the book in its print form, this is the sort of impact it will make. This is its size in comparison to the other major hardcover volumes from Chaosium for Call of Cthulhu 7th edition. Is it necessary to get it in print? No, it might even be easier to utilize in PDF, but it does make an impact, and it's the sort of book that can be one of those legacies that we leave to the people who will follow us in gaming, our children, our friends that we leave our gaming libraries to in our wills, and that sort of thing.